It's Teresa, and I am going to put some makeup on today. I really want to do a full video. We're doing a Zoom meeting today, the 90-day ladies. So I figured that I would put some makeup on, make myself look presentable, because I sure am not going anywhere. And in the meantime, while I'm doing that, I figured we'd have a nice little conversation, because when we left off last week, we were, dealing with being unemployed, losing the day job. And so I've been really busy in between. I mean, I thought I was going to have so much free time, but clearly there was a lot of stuff that I was putting off, because now I can focus more time on developing the coaching business. I can spend more time actually communicating with people. This has been the really biggest piece of what I've been doing, where I've allocated more of my time. Because we've all been so isolated, I've been purposely trying to reach out to people. I normally text. I normally rarely talk to people, but now I have been consciously trying to pick up the phone, or at least reaching out to people and saying, how are you? And we've been having so many, deaths, and people going into the hospital, and people being nervous, and, working from home, which is stressful. So I've really tried to reach out to people, see where they are, doing a little bit of that more. So I'm gonna get ready for this Zoom, and maybe we can, do a little chatting. This is by no means a tutorial, because I don't know enough about makeup to be showing anybody else how to do it, but I can do my own. And today I am going to use the, I think it's Maybelline, the Maybelline Matte Poreless. Yeah, Maybelline Matte Poreless. I'm using 360 for my face, and 355, which is coconut, like around my eyes and in my T-zone. So I'm going to pour a little bit of that out, because the bottle has no pump. And so there's like makeup everywhere, and this is what I'm using to put it in. So I'm doing a little bit here of the 355, and I'm going to do a little bit of the 360. So everybody tell me how you all doing. We're still dealing with the fallout from COVID-19. We're still trying to take a look and keep our finances together, still trying to manage, having everybody at the house at the same time. I hope everybody is good in your household. I know I'm ready to kill everybody who lives in mine. It's like, okay, I'm not used to spending so much time with these people. I really am not. So everybody's little habits are coming out. And in the beginning, the first, month or whatever, everybody was good. After that, everybody's habits came to the forefront. I am doing 10 times as much shopping as I've ever done. I think I'm in the grocery store like every 3 days. And now the line, I guess some stores, the store that I go to in New Rochelle, they don't hold a line. They are just, you go in and you just try to keep a distance from people. The stores down in the Bronx where I'm at, you stand outside on a line, and they only let like 8 people in the store at a time, which is crazy. But I get it. I totally get it. So we're trying to keep a handle on our finances. Remember what we talked about last month, and we've been talking about, is that we're going to just keep our cash on hand. We're going to preserve cash as much as possible. We do want to pay for things that we are going to need, because we're holding that cash for a reason, right? We're paying for food, which we've been, I thought I was going to save so much money. I was like, yeah, I'm not going to have to pay for, Metro card. I'm not going to pay for lunches out. I'm not going to have to pay for, any kind of clothing, any entertainment. Meals and entertainment is a done deal. Meanwhile, I'm spending 5 times as much money on food. So, food is one of the only things that I'm paying for. They call it the 4 walls, right? Except that it's not the 4 walls specifically. So let me explain to you what I mean. Usually when they say 4 walls, they mean food, transportation, housing, utilities. Those things that you absolutely need. For what we're doing, we're going to drop off housing, because right now we don't want to look at that as a critical need, because we're going to figure out how we can maybe push that back a little bit, and we'll go over that later. But for sure we need food. For sure we need medical supplies. We need your medicine. If you take medicine every day, especially now, because remember, this COVID-19 is hitting people with underlying conditions. So please, if you're one of those people like my mother, who be taking her medicine, she be spreading it out like she's not supposed to. She goes for she'll like take half a pill, or if she's supposed to take a pill every day, she'll take it every other day. This is not the time for them kind of games. This is not the time for them games. So I'm trying to, whoa, this is coming on light. I'm trying to explain to her that that ain't the way we do things. That ain't the way we do things these days. So make sure you keep that in mind, because we got to make sure we get our prescriptions made, especially if you have a chronic illness. You know what I mean? You got diabetes, you need insulin, that kind of stuff. You can't put that off. You know what I mean? You got any other heart disease and you're taking, nitroglycerin or something really, really that will keep you alive from day to day. Make sure you get that, please, and don't play around. Some people need transportation to get to food, right? Because food is not available for all of us, right down the street. So you may need to take a Uber, or you may need to take a bus, or you may need to take the train to the supermarket. So, or you need gas to put in the car. You have to put gas in your car in order to get to the supermarket. So please make sure you keep all of that going, because that's going to be super duper important. I'm using my NYX brushes, y'all. These are the bomb. This is the more of a buffery brush. I have this one too that has the curve, but for some reason, and I don't know, I may have had it too long, the bristles are starting to come off, and I'm like, I do my face and then I'm pulling out hairs, and ain't nobody got time for that. So I figure I'll just go with the buffery brush and keep it moving. All right, so we're dealing with food, transportation, and we're going to deal with medicine. Those are the things that we're dealing with. That's on the list number 1. List number 2 is going to be housing, because we're going to make a list and we're going to start working on seeing what we can, cut down, push back, what we can do away with. FYI, I didn't know liquor stores. We went to a supermarket and the liquor store next door was open, and I was like, the liquor store's open? They were like, yeah, the liquor store's in its central service. So they don't want these people out here killing each other. Bad enough you trapped in the house all day. They're like, if you can't get you a little nip, you might go kill each other. You might go kill these people, and we don't want that. Okay, so I own a property in South Carolina, of which I rent out. And I got in touch with my tenants right away. I was like, how y'all doing? Like, talk to me, because we don't have they've rented this house for about 7-8 years. So they're not, we're not strangers. So I said, listen, if there's a problem, you let me know. And this way we could work something out. And so initially they were like, no, we're fine. It's in South Carolina. So they're not really hit as hard as we are, but they still, have a couple of issues. What they told me was that everything was fine. Everything is wonderful. So I was like, all right, good. 3 days later, they were like, oh, one of the couple was in the hospital. And I'm like, what? In the hospital? What happened? Long story short, I don't know that it's COVID-19 related, because I didn't want to really get into details, and he wasn't, offering up any. So I just assumed that it might be difficult. They said that we sent off the rent for April, which I ain't get yet, and it's already the 15th. But we're going to have to, figure something out for the next couple of months. And I said, you know what, no problem, because these are good people. These are not people who duck out on the rent. They paid their rent. So what I'll probably do, and I'm not sure, I'll talk to them. I'll either drop their rent payment to the amount of the mortgage for a couple of months, free and clear. They're not going to owe me the difference, in 90 days or anything. It's going to just be what it is. Or I will drop it under the rent payment, and I will make because I'm paying my mortgage anyway. I do not want, unless things get really critical for me, and I really want to keep my my mortgage payments made, because I don't want to have to add on. It's like modifying my loan. I don't want to add this on to the back end of it, and I sure don't want to have to pay 3 months mortgage at the end of 90 days at one time. So unless things get critical for me, as long as they're helping out, it's not a problem. I just want to keep that together. And I'm not even super worried about like my credit score. I've been really working on it, and I know a lot of us are working on getting our credit together, but I'm not going to sacrifice my mental health for my credit score. I'm not going to allow myself to go crazy because I'm trying to keep my credit score at a certain number, and I'm going to allow that to drive me crazy. I can't do it. So what I'm going to do is work with them as much as possible, and then, let that be that. But so far they said that they'll be able to do it. But anyway, so talk to your landlord, because we all know that this is a problem. So there's nobody being super duper hard-hearted on, oh, the rent is due, I'm gonna kick you out. Plus, they ain't doing evictions anyway. I live in New York. They ain't doing evictions anyway. So to be honest with you, if you being evicted right now, you haven't been paying your rent in a long time. Nobody missed April and now they're getting ready to get evicted in May. That don't happen in New York. It's a process and it takes a while. And I mean, I feel for landlords because I have a rental property. So I'm not at all saying that, don't pay your rent, because there's other expenses that landlords have. But we're all in this together. So everybody got to, sort of take a little bit of an L here. You know what I mean? We're all taking an L. If you don't have a job or you're in a hospital because you got COVID-19, how you gonna pay your rent? And putting you out on the street is not going to make you get the rent up anymore. So, that's a little bit of an issue. And I kind of think that we all understand it. A lot of people have Netflix now. I think that I saw that Disney Plus has like millions of new subscribers because kids are home now. They lucked out on this one. They came out at the right time because now all these kids are home. And parents are not spending 8 hours a day homeschooling their kids. We all know that. They are spending a hot 20 minutes in the morning, and then once some kids start jumping up and down, they putting that good old Disney Plus on, or they let them play some games, and they doing what they want to do. We got y'all numbers. We know that y'all need to give it up to these teachers who be dealing with y'all kids on a regular basis. Y'all need to be thankful that they take your kids and they put some discipline in them, because when they home, they running all around bouncing off the walls. I also want to kind of focus on the social aspects, because remember, we look at budgets and we look at money and spending and we look at the dollar signs in front of it, but there's an emotional component as well. There is something that can lead us to feel bad about ourselves when we can't pay our bills. There's a certain amount of disappointment in ourselves. There's a certain amount of shame that's attached to not being able to pay your bills, even though this is not anything of your making. You did not cause COVID-19 to come and decimate our economy. This is not your fault. But we still somehow put blame on ourselves or attach blame to us for the results of this. And so we have to be mindful that we take care of ourselves and we recognize when these thoughts come to us, because this is not your fault. This is not, the universe's way of getting back at you. It is not. Call, get ahead of these bill collectors. Call your mortgage company. It may be a difficult phone call to make. If you need somebody, a friend to hold your hand while you're making that phone call, do it. It may be a tough email to send, but you have to get ahead of the problem. That will help you, because all of these companies, they have programs that are designed to help you. And we went over this in last period, so I'm not going to beat it up, but a lot of people have been stalling. Even me, I'm like, well, I called to find out what programs my mortgage company had to see if by chance I needed to take advantage of any of them, which is definitely a possibility, especially if the renters, if my money doesn't show up right and then the renters' money don't show up right. Now we all looking at each other. Nobody got no money to put toward these mortgage. So I may have to do something, but for right now, I think I may be a little bit okay. I'm going to use this. I don't like this. This is black matte eye thing that I never hardly use, but I'm going to use it today because I can't find my espresso and I don't have time to look, plus I ain't going nowhere. Also, I didn't use a primer. I'm not doing any of that. This is all for a Zoom teleconference, so if push comes to shove, I can always throw some glasses on, hide this whole situation. I just want to make sure that we're okay, that we're still communicating, that we still, we are social people, right? We're social people by nature. We love to talk to each other. And now we are being isolated, right? We are social distancing. Even when we're out with other people, we're still staying back 6 feet. So, there are ways that we can counter that. Okay, there are ways that we can counter that. If you, like I said, I'm a texter because I tend to be busy and I don't have time to really sit. And there are people who are lonely and they want to sit and have a full conversation, and I just don't got time for that. Now I got all the time in the world. Now I can sit there and sit on the phone with my grandmother and have a nice long conversation with her. I can give a call to my aunts and uncles, those people that you just, you see them like at I was gonna say funeral, at a funeral or a wedding, and you're like, oh my God, we gotta stay in touch. Now's the time to do that. Now's the time to stay in touch with those people that you said you would stay in touch with, but you were so busy that you ain't had time. Now's the time to do it. There's 1,000 different teleconferencing. There's one popping up every 5 minutes. definitely avail yourself to those. You know what I mean? Expand your group of Facebook and Instagram and social media friends so that you're aware of all of the offerings. I think a lot of gyms now have online platforms. I know that Silver Sneakers has a whole new line of at-home workouts. Definitely join into one of them because it's important that we stay active. I've been home for 4 weeks, 3 weeks, going on 4. This is the 4th week. I've gained 7 pounds. And it because initially I was snacking off the hook because I'm not used to having breakfast, lunch, and dinner. First of all, I'm not a breakfast eater, but I've been finding myself having like a little breakfast. I ain't missed meal, no snacks, nor snack since we started this thing here. And I buy all my little good stuff. That's why the garbage goes out like almost every day because we're all here. We just eating. So there's more food is consuming, more garbage. It's terrible. Then the house is a wreck, but that's a whole long story. Ooh, this one came out nice. Come on here. Black though. Black, look. Black. And it looked a little Instagram browy, but I'm gonna touch that up when I get to the concealer. So we'll figure that out. I know that Hassan, who goes to our church, he does Root Magazine. He does a gospel one where he's on, I think he's on Facebook. I'm not sure if he's on Instagram. He might be on both platforms. But there are a lot of people now who are doing, these little virtual clubs that you can go hang out with, and you can like talk to people. If you get a bunch of people that y'all know, you can kind of talk to each other, do hearts. And I mean, it's ways that people are trying to kind of fake stay together because you can't physically stay together. So we got to do it virtually, and it's good. I've learned so much. I mean, look at what we're doing now. It is a Monday. I should be, no, it's a Wednesday. Jesus, the days are flying. This is another thing too. Days are all melting into each other. I don't know, is it Tuesday? Is it Thursday? It all feels the same. Saturday feels just like a Tuesday. There's no separation. There's no difference. Sunday, we're doing church at home. And that is a big thing for us because I go to Love Fellowship Tabernacle. Our churches be like legit 3 hours. Get in there. It don't feel like it though. I don't want to seem like I'm complaining because I'm not. I love my church. But it do be long sometimes. And now it is a hot 45 minutes. Bishop Goodson to band. He gives his text. He teaches from the text, and we out. Because there's no singing, there's no praise and worship, none of that. So we fill up that time though with other services. So in a Sunday, we can go to like 3 church services. Like we legit in church, still the same amount of time, but in all these different services. So, I mean, it's different. It's not worse or better. I mean, I feel like, as a matter of fact, I do kind of feel more connected to the people. Because usually I go to church, we'll sit down, we're not talking, we're not chitty-chatting, we listen to the service, and then service is over, you get up, you may chat for a little while, and then you leave. Now, we are actually, with Zoom, we are communicating one-on-one for like days in a row. Every day there's a different thing, especially with our church. We have the women, and then the men, and the married people, and the single people, and every ministry has their own thing, and everybody is figuring out ways to keep everybody together. So we are actually probably in each other's company more than we were before. Listen, do a simplified budget. Don't do just, whether you have your job, whether you just lost your job, you're going on unemployment, make a very simplified budget. If you want one, I can drop one down for you. Just let me know you need it. Basic. Don't go crazy, because I know when people hear budgets, they think of, oh my God, I gotta sit and I gotta write down every single thing I buy, and I gotta keep track of this, I gotta keep track of that. You don't have to. You know what you do? You look at your bank statement for the last month and you say, okay, I pay this much for rent and I pay this much for utilities. Very basic. This is much for food. Toss 20% on whatever you spent on food last month, because that number gonna go up. But just, all your subscriptions, just get a bare bones idea of how much you're gonna need, because the second wave of layoffs is coming. The second wave of layoffs is coming. So on top of the 16 million people who have been laid off already, they are estimating that another how many millions are going to be laid off coming up. So we got to really make sure that we get our financial house in order so that we know how much we'll need in order to live. Like, how much are your monthly expenses? If I asked you right now, would you even know that number? Or would you give me a number, and then when you look at it, you realize that, oh my God, you need so much more because you didn't add in, your auto insurance, your gas. You didn't add in, all the the money for, the kids' various things. I mean, we got to do that. And they're saying that the kids might be home throughout the school year, which probably means through the summer. So these kids ain't probably going back to school until September. So great, they don't need no sneakers, but they're gonna need food and they're gonna need stimulation, because them games they play now, in another month or two, they're gonna be through with that. They're gonna need something else, and we're gonna be hard pressed to figure out what it is. We used to see markets not crash, but we used to see markets destabilize. Huge markets, like you remember when the insurance industry was collapsing and the mortgage, because of the mortgage crisis. And a lot of people were not old enough back then to really understand how that happened. But to have a pandemic, to have something medical in nature ripple through our economy and cause this type of devastation is just something that you would not have ever believed would happen. I mean, I'm walking through the streets, I see people wearing masks. I mean, we're forever changed. And so this caught people unaware. There are people who were in jobs that they thought were very stable who are now not working, right? There are people, usually in when things like this happen, entertainment is big. Now I work in entertainment. When we went through the last thing with the mortgage crisis, entertainment was booming, because people will always try to find a way to escape the pain. You know what I mean? You could be on the verge of losing everything, but you still want to go to a show. You want to go to a comedy club. You want to go to a movie. You want to do some form of escapism, right? You want to do something else. Go to a concert, something that for that period of time and a little bit while longer, it brings back the nostalgia of the good times and, when things were well with you. But now, entertainment is flat. Because again, you can't have more than 10 people in a place. So all of the shows that we were on is canceled. Everything that we had planned to do up until, I want to say July or August, has been canceled. Canceled or postponed. They try not to cancel it because they don't want to give you back your deposit. But it's been postponed. It takes a certain amount of promotion to get 5,000 people into an arena, right? It takes a certain amount of promotion and a certain amount of lead time. And so even shows that are maybe August, September, they're not going to have enough time to promote these shows, because nobody's buying tickets or fare to do anything right now, because nobody knows when we're going to open back up again. So nobody's buying tickets to nothing because we don't know what's happening. So even if they open it up, say May 1st, June, July, August, 3 months is not going to be enough time to get 5,000 people into an arena for a concert. They need more. They need like 9 months, you know what I mean, to kind of get the airwaves together, get the promo tour going. Like, it takes a lot to get butts and seats. And so if you start so late, you're just not going to have that time. So even when they open up the economy, it's going to take a while for things to get back to normal. So schools are closed. And I was going to say that who I really feel for are the kids that are in unhappy homes, because they just have no alternative. You know what I mean? There's some place that is a nightmare for them, and there's no real escape. There's no real escape for them. And it doesn't help that their parents are now kind of forced to be in their company, because clearly their parents are overwhelmed and not able to take care of them the way they should. And so they're not treating the kids right. And for that, my heart really goes out to them. And all of the kids who are dealing with that. And on the flip side, all the kids who are being bullied in school, I'm sure they are doing a happy dance, because they don't have to deal with that. I'm going to add a little bit of, this is concealer, but this is a darker color, because I feel like this is too bright. So I'm going to add a little bit of darkness right down here. And I know it looks light I know it looks a little lighter, but it's not. It's darker. Do a little contour. You know what I'm saying? It's the people, it's Zoom, but they deserve to see somebody who didn't look like they just rolled out of bed. That's what I'm thinking. It don't have to be perfect, but it better be okay. All right, so you're going to do a simplified budget, and you're going to do, get your bills together. We're going to look at that. We're going to try to stay social. We're going to try to reach out to people. We're going to try to, even people who seem to be very lonely, people who live alone. It would be nice to reach out to them. Okay, I'm going to be putting a little color on my eyes because they're a little colorless. I'm going to be using BH Cosmetics Royal Affair. This is backwards. I know you can't see it. It says Royal Affair. But I'm going to be using this just because, what the heck? I don't use it that much. So I might as well get some use out of it. It's terrible. I feel like a kid in a candy store. I'm like trying all this stuff. Y'all, I wish I could see. I have bags and boxes full of everything. It's crazy. So I think I'm gonna go with it green. I think I'm gonna go with Enchanted, which is like a dark green on the lids, and then a color that's probably 2 or 3 shades darker on my whatever that crease, maybe. I don't know. Like I said, this ain't no tutorial. If you're filing for unemployment, know that there is 1 week they call the waiting week. So if you filed and your application was successfully submitted and they say, please, come back next week and, and certify for that week, that first week that you certify, which is the week after you apply initially, will be your waiting week. Waiting week equals you ain't getting no money for this week. That's what waiting week equals. I applied for unemployment last week, and I was waiting for like a letter or something in the email saying this is how much you get or whatever, and I haven't gotten it yet. As a matter of fact, I thought it was going to come by email, because right now everything is email, and because who was in the office to send me a letter? Although I'm sure these things are probably generated automatically, it just feels weird. But yeah, so what they're gonna do is send me a letter saying, you qualify for this much based on, however much you make is how much you qualify for. And then after that, you'll be getting their money. You'll be getting your regular weekly once you're certified. But that first week is a waiting week, so you get no money for that. All right, so just hold on. Hopefully your stimulus check would have come. My mother just showed me hers, which means we got ours, because I don't get one, unfortunately. But she got hers, and that's good enough for me. So we balling this week. She'll buy a dress. That money is supposed to go towards your emergency, just in case we don't have enough money to make this good old rent. That's what that is supposed to be for, not for you to buy a dress. I said, Mom, don't do that. Don't act like we don't talk about this all the time. How much money you got in your emergency fund? That's what I want to know. Show me your emergency fund balance, and then I'll tell you if you could buy some dress. But you know what? That's parents. That's people. Because already I'm on Facebook and I'm seeing people, and they're so excited. They talk about, oh, this Trump, he's not so bad. It's like, have you not learned anything? Have you not learned? Have you not figured it out? Don't let it get you. You know what I mean? The stimulus check is going to be good. You put it in your emergency, because you never know when you're going to lose that good old job. So hold on to it, please. No store should be open anyway. Well, the online stores are open. But please, don't spend that money. Don't spend that money on craziness. Because then when you need money, when you need a few bucks, it's not going to be there. Remember, it was based on 2018. So if you had a kid since you filed your 28 tax return, that is not going to be taken into consideration. So you will wait until you get, if you did your 2019 return, then it was based on the information you submitted with 2019. If you haven't done 2019 yet, then it'll be based on 2018. And I think that's it. I mean, we've got our game plan. We're working toward what we want to do. We're getting our little budget together. If you have a need, listen, apply for these city services. I told you that you do not want to go hungry. You do not want to wait until you don't have a dime left. You want to put a plan in place, an action plan, and start working on it now. The worst thing you could do is spend all your money and wait until you have $0 and then start scrambling. All right, because by that time it'll be too late, because all of these agencies, it takes a while for those wheels to turn. And because it's not only you and it's not only me, it's the 16 million other people who are also trying to get benefits. So definitely don't wait until you're at 0 in order to apply for benefits. So I'm hoping that this has all been beneficial to somebody. Remember, if you have any questions, or if you need anything, if you need that simple budget, let me know. If you have any questions about anything, let me know. Don't forget to reach out and connect with people. Don't go crazy sitting in the house all by yourself. It's not cute to sit there and go stir crazy all alone, okay? So I think that I'm ready for the most part. I mean, I got to take this piece off. But other than that, I'm ready. This is a little dark. But you know what? It's all good. How you like it? Yes. All right, I'm ready for my Zoom meeting now, I guess. I will talk to you all later. Bye.